All right, welcome in. Welcome back to the BFR Podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name is Dave. I cover the Bears for SM, joined by my good friend, Chicago Bears content creator Ficky, and our producer Jack is going to be joining the show as well today. It is almost the last day of March, and we have officially draft month. April, the draft is less than a month away, so we have a really good show. A lot of interesting topics, some trades, potentially draft rumors. We got Will Campbell clapping back at everybody. No pun intended there in regards to kind of the left tackle and his arm length. But we have a lot to get to. Before we do, like always, Ficky, man, how you doing? It's a Sunday morning. I think this is the first Sunday morning pod that we've done. Unless
London,
we have a Sunday morning.
London, when we played in London, because that game was done at like noonish, maybe. So
yeah, but that wasn't the morning.
It's not the morning. It's
10:20.
Yeah, we normally don't do it. Normally because we're getting ready for the games on Sunday. So yeah, we haven't done a Sunday. We haven't done a Sunday one in a minute. It is weird to actually talk football on Sunday.
It was nice.
I've been good. I'm good. I think like everybody, I think we're all ready for the draft. I mean, this next month is going to be crazy. Like the amount of rumors and news articles and mock drafts, which we'll be doing a couple in this coming month. Like it is going to be an exciting time. We're finally getting over this. I think this is like the last boring week, I shall say, even though there have been some news and some signings still waiting on Aaron Rodgers. Where is he going to go? We're going to kind of talk about that as well here with some implementations on the Bears. So, it's all good. I'm just kind of ready to get really see where this team is solidified. Like I'm ready to see what that final 53 will be and know who is going to help lead the charge for this team and kind of get ready for the football season. But how about y'all? How are you doing, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing well. Saw Theo Vaughn last night. Very, very funny dude. Very, very funny. Also, shout out to Philip. I don't know if you guys seen. I follow him on Instagram. First of all, follow him on Twitter, social. But he has a huge setup now. Like obviously with him in just another year, it looks sick. You got a Bulls jersey. Shout out to the Bulls. I know we hate the Knicks on this podcast, which is a good thing. But the Bulls have been really fun. So that's
they've been on fire, bro.
This has kind of made it a little bit more of what's the word? Everyone misses Chicago Bears football, but when the Bulls are good, the city just feels better. It just feels better. Obviously, it's a football city, first, but the Bulls being relevant just makes Chicago sports especially, just so much better. Now, I do want Cooper Flagg, and this is kind of like bittersweet because we're winning.
You're not getting him now.
Now I think we have a 1% chance of winning the lottery. We still have a chance, so that's kind of nice.
You guys you're tied right now for 10th with Miami. And you're only 2 games back from the 8th seed. So y'all could.
We're not getting that 8th seed, I don't think, but maybe.
2 games, though. You could. There's about 14 games left or so. So, yeah, Alex here with the comment. That first off, can I say this? That last 10 seconds versus the Lakers game was crazy. You get a 3. Braun throws it basically to Giddey.
That was wild. That's like something I would do.
Yeah, that was a horrible pass. And then he kicks it out to Kobe White for the 3. Then the Lakers go down. Reeves gets the layup. Giddey gets the ball, shoots that ball.
And that Reeves layup was like the same one that he had a game winner like that 2 weeks ago, similar. But yeah, that move was definitely I've done that before, not to lose a game. I'm not that bad, but just I've made an inbounds play. Like you release it and you're like, shit, and that's horrible. Exactly what LeBron probably felt. But Jack,
that was LeBron's worst 12 seconds of his career. People were saying
before we, I guess, this is a Bears podcast. Before we hop into the Bears, how are you doing, brother? Sometimes I feel like I don't think we were talking before off the pod. I was like, I haven't heard Jack for 5 days.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because our problem is we built a really strong connection on Marvel Rivals, and now I haven't touched Marvel Rivals in probably 2 or 3 weeks.
I'm waiting for the new season. I can't stand it.
It's tough out here.
Honest to God, I have no idea even when that is. Before I'd be I'm reading every inch of every patch now. I have no clue when the new season is.
I think it's 2 weeks away.
It's coming
maybe?
up. Yeah, it's about 2 weeks away. So.
Anyways, bro.
Yeah, but we're doing good. I'm kind of again, sports centric. I'm kind of getting worried because we're getting close to the sports dead zone time. And I'm trying to take in March Madness. I'm taking the NBA as much as I can, but we're getting really close to being dead for 2.5, 3 months. And that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. Once the draft's over. Okay.
Baseball's all we have. And then I don't even think the WNBA picks up by then.
No, I think they're early summer, I believe, is when they start.
So we got March Madness still. We got the NBA playoffs are going to be, I think, great.
Yeah.
I always love that. We got the draft, of course. NASCAR. The draft is going to be fun, but honestly, people kind of sleep on OTAs, and we're going to have a lot of new faces, and Caleb's going to be there. So I mean, sure, it's not training camp, but it's like the off-brand, version of training camp where you still get that like, oh, what's happening? You may get a couple clips potentially. WWE. But I agree, Jack. It is getting a little scary, but we'll still be here. We podcast every week, once a week during the off season. So again, if you want Bears news, a little bit of other topics as well. Typically, we just it's strictly Bears content. But if you want to stick with us, subscribe, hit that like button. We do have a show for you today. We have. I guess we could start with the biggest one here. This one was from SM. It was actually on Yahoo Sports as well. They kind of linked Chicago and Pittsburgh as potential trade targets, and what it looks like. And I pull up here. But it looks like just a trade partner could be emerging if Chicago wants to trade back. So last week there was an article about best trade partners, and oddly enough, Miami Dolphins were linked to Chicago. However, with the Aaron Rodgers news, essentially people following Aaron Rodgers, it looks like a deal has been done in Pittsburgh. However, he may retire. And so,
which is wild. Like those two options are the complete opposite. Either a deal's done or I'm not playing football. From
what it was from reading the article, it looks like, and this is from Adam Schefter, it looks like the deal financials are done. Nothing's going to change there. It's a 1-year deal. They did not, basically, he didn't relay what those I bet it's like 30 million, probably something along those lines. However, if Rodgers retires, Pittsburgh will be left kind of without any quarterback. They cannot sell. They can go Mason Rudolph again, but I mean, really, do they want to do that to their fans? You got Teddy Bridgewater, potentially Carson Wentz. Either way, it's going to be a tough sell for the fans. So one of the biggest things here is the draft, finding a solution. And I think they pick 21st right now.
Yeah, 21st.
And nobody is likely going to I don't think anybody's going to really be available. That would be an impact day one.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say there's two things here. First off, eerily ironic that this 21-10 is kind of what we did to get Fields, 21-11, I believe.
Identical.
Yeah. So the trade would, if you want to know what the compensation is, it'll probably be something along those lines because again, it's a quarterback. It's a quarterback trade up, so it's going to be heavier than a normal trade from 21-11 or 21-10. But so two things. First thing is, I also saw that that Rodgers was still linked to the Vikings as well. So maybe that also plays a part into it. Whether that's another chip on the the card table that could pull him away from Pittsburgh, which would benefit us, or he could retire. And then also there was another one that said it would be a retirement, but he would come back the following year, which he'd be 43 at that point. Wild. I mean, Brett Favre retired like 8 times, so maybe he's just trying to follow his predecessor, but crazy situation. The third final thing is, like you said, Dave, if you trade from 21-10, you have to assume that someone's going to be there, right? Mocks have had, obviously Cam Ward's 1. I think that's like the only pick that's been certified, solidified. And then maybe Abdul Carter to 2. But I've seen some where Shador goes 2 to the Browns, goes 3 to the Giants. You don't think the Giants are going to pass up on Shador. And then if that's the case, all 3 of those teams which need quarterbacks pass up on Shador. You think he's going to fall all the way to 10? I just don't. I just feel that, especially it'd be different if it was last year's draft class, where it's like, look, if you're not getting Caleb or you're not getting Jaden Daniels, there was still a Drake May. There was still Bo Nix. There was still Michael Penix. Like there was 5 quarterbacks that you felt comfortable about in the first round. Doesn't mean we didn't expect they'd all go that early. That was record breaking. But in the first round, that you're like, okay, we could probably wait and draft up, trade up to get that guy. And this one, it's Cam or Shador, and then who you doing? Jackson Dart? Like I don't know. So the trade, yes, if there's someone at 10, the power we'll have, not just for the Steelers, but anyone, like if Shador's sitting at 10, like we're going to be sitting on a gold mine. I just find it harder to believe that all those teams prior wouldn't take a risk on at least, some people view him as quarterback 1. Most people view him as quarterback 2. There's a bigger gap. There's a less gap from Cam Ward to Shador than there is a gap from Shador to anybody else that's left. So that's just my opinion. Kind of want to know your guys' thoughts on that. Like, is that even plausible?
Plausible meaning, so I think it is. When it comes to, so Pittsburgh, they already have history. Poles and is it Omar Khan?
Yeah, Omar Khan,
GM over there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got the Claypool trade. Obviously, Justin Fields comes to mind. They obviously have strong communication. So when Adam Schefter talks about potential, draft stuff, I listen, and I think a lot of people do as well. It's hard to, when it comes to the smoke and what you're trying to think. I do believe that Chicago would potentially trade down to 21. I think they would, just because they're going to be able to. You can get a first round. Remember Justin? It cost a first and a third.
I think the question is more of not if they'll Bears will make the trade. I think they'll trade that easily. I'm looking. Look here. Let me phrase this better. And Jack, I like your thoughts on this too. Well, so you have Tennessee, Cleveland, Giants. Mm-hmm. And then you have New Orleans at 9, who has aging Derek Carr and a horrible deal. Out of those 4, do you think it's more likely that those 4 would pass up on Shedeur? Because that's who would be at 10.
But that's the thing. I think it all depends if something like, because no one thought. Well, I guess there was mocks when Justin, like people did not mock him falling out of the top 10. And so for me, it's going to likely be, you're going to have to figure out on, like, I think it was polls. Like, I think it was actually Pace and Nagy talked about, they already had this deal in place if it happened with New York. Like, hey, if Justin, or a quarter, I don't know if it's just Justin, but if a quarterback falls, because I think it was similar to like last year where there's 3 or 4 guys, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, obviously number 1, and then Trey Lance obviously went 2, which is nuts. But for me, it's like, it's going to be determined on draft night how this board falls, because I think there was a comment here on YouTube, like, this is one of the hardest ones to mock. Like, it truly is. And so for me, I understand where you're coming from. That's the only way it happens, is if a quarterback is there at 10. Obviously, they're not just going to blindly trade up right now. No. It's going to be a draft night trade. And then also the Bears are going to have to weigh an option here, because what if Ashton Jeanty is available? And then they are still calling. It's like,
or even a great tackle.
Man.
I mean, you're dropping
or Will Campbell.
You're dropping a really far back. Like, if you think about the talent from 21 to 10 is, I would say, not like significant, but like you're more likely to hit, even though the numbers are still low, to hit on a potential all-pro player in the top 10. The percentage of you hitting on someone from 21 is much less, obviously. So, are you willing to wish that up to get capital back? It might be worth it, but I don't know.
I agree. But what if, and they could do that, but they could also trade up to 18, 17. They like a guy, right?
True.
And I know that's a lot. It's just a lot of projecting. But for me, I totally understand where you're coming from, because I think it is only going to be a draft day trade. It's not they're going to make a move right now, right? No. The projections of what it would cost, though, would be a future first-round pick and a 1 or 2 day or a 1 or 2 day. So basically a 1 and 2 day 2 picks, or 3 picks. So it'd be like a first rounder, and then it can be either a second and a third, or a third and a fourth and a fifth. There is a lot of different options that I guess the draft compensation from what ESPN was putting here. So I think that's a lot. I think you at least get a first, and maybe.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe a second.
And I want to ask Jack your opinion on this too, but there's also one thing you have to keep in mind with someone like the Steelers, right? That pick next year, because look, they don't go below 500, is going to be at least 16 or 17, your first round. It's not like the Giants got our first the following year and then we sucked. So they got a good first year, they got a decent one, so that's another thing to keep in mind. I do think it's plausible, but could we do it with someone, like if I'm looking at the rankings right now, could we do it with someone like 14? Let's say Shedeur falls to 14. That's the Colts, right? And they're like, look, Anthony Richardson isn't the guy, which it kind of feels like. And they jump up 4 spots. We drop down to 4, still get really high quality. The likelihood of, Indianapolis now being like dominant the following year is probably not the case. So that could be a top 10 pick next year. So again, like you said, it's all projections, all hypotheticals, but I wouldn't necessarily be mad about it, but the Steelers are consistently good. So that what you're getting in return isn't going to be as good as obviously you trade with someone who is a lot more wishy-washy when it comes year by year. But Jack, what's your thoughts? Would you want to make that trade if Shedeur fell that low? Do you feel like we're missing out? Would you rather go with a different team and make the trade? What's your thoughts?
No, yeah, you nailed it spot on. I think that the Steelers it's not in. When we hear first round pick, it's exciting because there's the possibility of the Panther situation playing out. where we get the first. Like, that's the incentive. But yeah, like you said, the Steelers, they don't lose regular season games, no matter what their roster looks like, no matter who's at quarterback, doesn't matter. They win. So yeah, it's not as exciting. I also have a fear, depending on who's available at that 10. So like you threw the hypothetical of Genty being there. I just have like this internal fear, and I'm not even team Genty, but I'm saying like if he was available at 10, not only did we not take anybody, but we moved away to like build more picks. Like, that's a dangerous game to play just in terms of like morale, for a lack of a better term. Like, it's not like the locker room's going to blow up, but it's not a good look. So I don't know. I wouldn't be pissed. I don't love like the pick dump kind of. It depends. Like, if Dave's calculator and like what it's saying is what it's worth, and we can get 3 picks. Well, what was that ranking? What tool are we using over there?
That was ESPN. It's just what they labeled as potential compensation. So,
for like this specific trade,
it was part of the article. Yeah,
got it. Okay, so yeah, I'm not either way. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I one way or the other. It's just, if it works out, it works out.
You know, it's a good question though. Like, the workout is with picks is. I wonder, we'd have to do like a deep dive on this. Like, this would probably be a side project that I have to go hyper fixate on, which I do sometimes. But basically looking at trades that have happened and seeing, has it hit more with grabbing value and just multiple picks, right? So obviously from like a statistical standpoint, the more picks you have, the more likely you are to hit on. Because let's say your hit percent is 50%, well, you get one more chance to flip the coin, right? So that gives you one more chance to get a tails, right? But I wonder, is there the opposite viewpoint where you've actually missed out on, like, you're like, you know what, I got 3 picks back here, but I missed out on taking whatever. You think of like Patrick Mahomes. The Bills traded with the Bills traded with the Chiefs. The Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes. The Bills got picks back. But you didn't get Patrick Mahomes. I know they ended up getting their guy anyways, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A situation where, well, it doesn't matter how many picks you get, you missed out on Patrick Mahomes. So I kind of wonder,
I mean, Josh Allen's a really good comp.
Sure. No, they ended up fine. They're fine. But in most cases, I wonder if there is that situation. Think about this with the Bears, right? This is a big conversation with us. We've talked about it.
I know what you're bringing up.
Exactly. Jalen Carter, Darnell Wright. I think it's, too early still to tell, but like a situation like that, it's like, well, who cares if you got Tyreek Stevenson in the back? Is Tyreek Stevenson and Darnell Wright better? Like, let's say Jalen Carter has a Hall of Fame career. Is he better than Jalen Carter? You'd be like, absolutely not. So who cares what picks you get?
Yeah, but the Hail Mary doesn't happen.
That's true as well.
So, I mean,
that's true as well, right?
No, I think I was going to bring up Jalen Carter because similar to this one. So, Genty is available, right? Am I saying that right?
Genty.
Genty, he's available. And the Bears trade to 21. Wouldn't that piss you off? Like, I think that would would be like similar to Jalen Carter, where I'm like, damn, that's a blue chip guy, or even Will Campbell. Same thing. I'd be like, I don't want to pass up on a guy for future draft capital because, one, we have our quarterback. He's on a rookie deal. And what are we talking about next year? It is like a win now mentality that I think even Poles and then Ben Johnson has kind of implemented. He's obviously the trenches, right? And it's not flashy, but it really signifies, no, we're going to build around Caleb and we want to win right now because of the money, the trades they're making. Everything is pointing towards wanting to compete for the division. And so for me, you trade to 21. Sure, you're set for, because that first rounder is going to be next year, right? Probably 2026. You're probably not getting a pick this year unless it is maybe a third. But if you get a second, I can see how that helps you. But for me, it's you got to build like blue chip caliber players. And for me, there's going to be someone available at 10, especially with which another topic we're going to talk about is, I guess there's been some quarterback talk about. I think who it was one of the quarterbacks picking up steam in regards to kind of flipping the board, which would just, as many quarterbacks are taken in that first 9 picks is going to help Chicago because
probably that Jackson Dart, his stock's been rising like crazy.
I think it was Jackson. Well, and we'll get to that one here in a little bit, but I think you're right, Ficky. So similar to, I think the last couple of years was like, since we had Caleb or even when we had Justin, it's like we had a quarterback in place no matter what, whether it was Justin a couple of years ago and then Caleb last year. Any quarterback taken in those first 6, 7, 8, 9 picks helps Chicago because the players are just pushed back and you get a real shot at a difference maker. So I love the idea. However, I think Chicago, I think you put it well, Jeff. It's like I think we're both all three of us are kind of past the. Obviously, we want our picks. We want to keep those, right? But I don't think we need to accumulate as much as we had, like with the Panthers trade.
Yeah, we got 6
and so forth.
So we got 4 in the top 150, so we got plenty of ammo for high quality players.
Dave, you nailed it, man. We got to win now. Like that's rebuilding shit. When you sit there and you trade 10 for 21 and then 48 and then next year's 133, like that's rebuilding. We're not rebuilding anymore. Like we almost have a complete roster, at least on paper. Mm-hmm. And like it's win now. So I totally agree. And I think it's far worse to miss out on Gentry or Will Campbell and go down to 21 and get some guy that, like you said, is not blue chip. And we kind of have to like figure out if he's going to be a plausible starter or not. So yeah, I'm totally with you. I don't think that that's the best option, but again, not the end of the world to me.
So Jack, you made a great point in 2 things from this. When you look at the teams that are, in that win now or been consistently in the postseason, they're typically trading up because they want to get value for they don't have as many needs. So they see someone's like, yep, we got to get that because we just want to fill this hole. We'll worry about building depth on the back end, right? The later rounds. So you see that with the Chiefs did it last year to trade up for Worthy, Xavier Worthy, right? They needed a wide receiver. They went up and got it. And I think that paid off for them. And you'll see it like the Bills do it. The Eagles did it to go up to get their corner. The Lions did it as well to get their starting corner. They needed help with corners, so they traded up. So you see a lot of these guys like in the late half of the first round trade up to, because they know they need to get the best player at the position on their board to, make a change. I think the Rams did it too to get Jared Verse, right? They traded up and he ended up being a dog. So I agree with you that maybe it might be the time to trade back. Also, you tie that in with how this mock has kind of been viewed. How this draft has kind of been viewed from draft analysts. They're saying it's there's not as many blue chips, but there's a lot of great quality starter type, right? So because of that, not like last year where it seemed like there was weapons all across the board, right? You got Brian Thomas at 17, right? And he ended up being the second receiver in the NFL. Well, because you don't have that type of talent, it's not super top, or it is super top heavy, or maybe it's only 5 or 6 guys, trading back then takes you from possibly getting that blue chip, like you said, Jack, to then getting just this type of, not as impactful, at least from what we know on paper, from what we're hearing from all the reports. So because of that, I would have to agree with you that it might be best to let's not trade back. Now, if we trade back one, if we do a Jalen Carter trade, I'm okay with, right? Shadour's there. Maybe you drop back 2. You still can get Genty in front of the Cowboys. That makes sense. You get a pick and you still get your guy. But doing a drastic fallback from being top 10 to now being back 10, I think that's a little too hefty for me.
I agree. I think it's fun though. This is why you love the draft and you're just hoping and I don't know. I think all signs point to just what the Bears have done this offseason, where it's they're not going to look to, at least with that number 10 pick, I don't think they're going to look to move back unless it's 11 or something along those lines. And Genty's gone and maybe Tyler Warren's not there, because I think that's another thing we'll talk about, because when it comes to Tyler Warren, is one of the guys I kind of wanted to talk about because I think he is he's not slept on, because I think I've seen people talk about him potentially going to Chicago at 10, and it's kind of volatile because people love Cole Kmet, and I get that. And I would see it as more as a complementary piece, right? Having 2 tight ends. I think Warren has a little bit more upside than Cole. But one of the interesting parts when it comes to Tony Pauline out of Sportskeeda was able to speak with him, and it looks like Warren did not participate in his pro day or anything like that. But he said he will showcase his talents for select teams. And those teams that were named were the New York Jets, the Indianapolis Colts,
they need a tight end,
and the third and final team was Chicago. So for me, it's crazy. And he said, since then, I've been told the New Orleans Saints and both the Chargers and the Rams were also just joined the mix. So that's a total of, what is that, 5? 5 teams. So those teams go from the 7th pick to the 14th pick in the first round. So
that's probably
anywhere
where
between the 7th to the 14th pick, Chicago's right there in the middle at 10. I think it's interesting. And I I guess my question here is how they pull, obviously on draft night, they draft Tyler Warren. Instant reactions. Are you happy, upset? Does it determine on, or does it decide, is it more on like who else was available? What are your thoughts? I'll start with you, Fick, on Tyler Warren, because I think that's interesting. One of 5 teams, and one of them is Chicago.
Yeah, we talked about this. Like anything's kind of on the table for the Bears. So it's not that this isn't far-fetched, right? Like they could do it. What's interesting about Tyler Warren is the type of tight end Tyler Warren is. Had a great year, right? Kind of broke out his last year, his senior year. Didn't really play his first 2 years, but had like 1,200 yards, some crazy contested catches, some games of like multiple touchdowns. Like dude's a dog.
He's thrown some passes too.
Yes, he has.
He threw a dime last year.
I think he long snapped too. He was a snapper.
What was that
as well,
one?
like
who did he throw that? It was like a 45-yard touchdown.
It was a dart.
In coverage.
Yeah. And he's got some plays where he's caught like, no, you're good. He has some plays where he's caught like double, triple coverage, bringing it down. I mean, the dude's 6'6", like 200, I think like 70 pounds, and runs a 4.6 840. So he's definitely a freak, but his stature and style of play is less complimentary of Cole Kmet and is more identical to Cole Kmet. That doesn't mean that it cannot work out, but they're both like your inline type of tight end, going to be able to block, maybe not like the smoothest with like cuts and evasiveness and open space, right? That's not them. They're more contested. You know, they got enough speed to get by defenders, but they're not over here like really breaking into open zones and sitting there and, you know, kind of like more of a Travis Kelce, or think of like a Mike Gesicki or things like that. So my question is, would you rather go with Tyler Warren, or would you then go for someone who can complement Cole Kmet more with someone like a Colston Loveland, who's a Michigan tight end, like 6'5", 240. He's had an impact since his freshman year. He's a little bit younger. He's a junior. I think he had like 600 yards last year, like 10 touchdowns, something like that. Had a pretty good year. Some are viewing him as tight end 1 because of his potential, because the man is way more elusive in space, much more of your pass catching tight end. Now, he doesn't have as good hands as I would say Colston Loveland. I mean, as Tyler Warren, and Tyler Warren is better in contested catching. But this is kind of like that debate. Like, if you're going to go tight end, that's already kind of like, well, you got Cole Kmet. But if you are going to go tight end, is that the right tight end to go for? Because now you just have 2 Cole Kmets. You know, and to answer your question, that's more of a question for you guys. To answer your question, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to, like, I'm going to trust the process. It's not like this guy's bad, obviously. Yeah. Top of his class. But is that the biggest need? And maybe it is based off how the draft board falls, right? Genty's gone at 6. Campbell could be gone to the Jets at 7. You know what I mean? Amon Membu could easily go before us. Like, then you kind of fall back and it's like, okay, now it's tight. It's, you know, tackle 3 with like a Josh Simmons. So, you know, you kind of have to weigh your options there. So I'll have to see how the board lands to really be like, oh, I like that or I don't like that. But from a talent standpoint, he's really, really good. It's just that now we kind of have 2 of the same player. Would he make our team better? Absolutely. But having Ben Johnson might help because he'll know how to scheme them both open. But if this was the other regime, I'm like, okay, you couldn't even target Cole Kmet. So what are we going to do with Warren?
Well, before I get to, because I want to hear what you think, Jack, on Tyler Warren. But I think what you just said there, Fick, is important. Is it necessary, right? He may be he's not Brock Bowers. I like that comment there, but he's very, very good, right? As far as what Ben Johnson could do with him because of the way he could throw the ball, direct snap. I mean, you just have he's just a weapon, right? And a very versatile weapon in regards to, I think, more so than what Cole Kmet is. But it's like, is that necessary? And would it help win now from like a Will Campbell or something along those lines? So I think that's interesting. Is it necessary? But this is the draft, right? And the polls has set them up to do anything. BPA. So if they think Warren is BPA on their board and they want that, obviously they're going to do it. But Jack, and Tyler Warren is a bear.
Thing before Jack goes, because this might help for Jack's decision making. Is it necessary? Sometimes as fans, we're like, that makes no sense, but then it ends up working out. So as a pro in this situation, you think of Ben Johnson when they traded up and drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. Was that the Lions' most necessary need? No, but did it make a huge impact for that team? Absolutely. So sorry, Jack, please go ahead. I want to know your thoughts. Instant reaction with it.
Yeah, here it's simple. I'd be fucking sick. I would be really sick if we get Tyler Warren, especially at 10. Like, here's a fun fact. In the last 11 years, 10 tight ends have been picked in the first round of the NFL draft. So not top 10, 1 through 32. They've combined for 1 All-Pro and 2,000-yard seasons.
Jeez, that's not great.
Not great. Like, again, notably is like Kyle Pitts at 4, Kincaid, and then Brock Bowers are like the ones that I remember. But that's what
Brock Bowers for sure, number 1.
Right. And so
Kincaid's like you're a good starter, and then I think Pitts has not lived
on record. Bowers, I really wanted him. I did.
You did.
I thought he was
I thought unbelievable. I was content with that too. If we landed him,
like Rome though.
But we love Rome. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's again. Brock Bowers is the only All-Pro, and he's one of the 2,000-yard receivers to ever in the last 10 years or 11 years. So, I mean it again, and that's to me. I think 10's just way too high for it, and it's not a need. That's where I kind of go back and forth in my head about Genty too. And that's like part of the conversation is we forget that we have DeAndre Swift just sitting on our roster right now. Like it kind of feels like we have the vibe of like we're running Roshan and that's it. Like that's our entire room. But we do have a really good running back. So I don't know. I would again, if we're focused on Tyler Warren, I would be sick. I would not sit there and be like, all right, you know what, best player. I would be sick. I would throw shit. I'll go solo pod. I would go rogue. I would go solo pod on all of the platforms and just fucking go crazy. I would get us. Yeah. But yeah,
just for content reasons, I kind of hope it happens then. But yeah, I feel you on that. I think it really is that if we didn't have Cole Kmet, I mean, along with those great stats that Jack brought up, which I think it does give a lot of good context to it, right?
Really
if
good.
We didn't have,
first of all, really good research because I don't know if you had that on hand or if you just very good, Jack. Well done.
That was good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hopefully polls of them are doing that research too as well. Because hopefully they read that same article, website, whatever it is, and like, maybe
some good stuff from Sears Tower over here.
Yeah, for sure. Right? For sure.
Fuck Sears Tower forever. I'll find you.
Hey, not Ricky though. Ricky's a dog, pun intended.
Who's Ricky?
I was gonna say if we didn't have Cole Kmet, then I'd feel like a little bit better, even with what Jack said, because at least it's like you're taking the attempt to fill that need. But we all know that Cole Kmet's regression last year, and I think Dave, you talked about it or Eric, maybe one of you guys' articles on Sports Mockery, you all should check it out. Talked about like his regression was not like we know that's not Cole Kmet, right? That was literally offensive schemes. It's hard to have yards and touchdowns when you aren't literally targeted. There was multiple games last season where Cole Kmet had 0 targets. You can't tell me all game there was not one sort of play where Cole Kmet was open or that you didn't just force the ball to him anyway. So to say all that with Ben Johnson, he could make it work, but I would have to, agree with Jack on like, is that really like, do we have that luxury where that's where we go? Do we? I don't think so. Are we in win now? Yes. But are we the Chiefs? Are we, the Lions? Are we these teams that have been good for multiple years? No. So we still have plenty of needs or places other, like you're looking at the totem pole prioritization positions that we need to put first.
Yeah. First of all, there's a comment here. Hit that like button. I first of all appreciate that comment. If you're enjoying the content, we appreciate it. We do typically not go live on Sunday mornings, but the off season is fun. As far as the draft, I saw a comment here as well about going live on draft night. We will be live. We were live last year. We actually did the entire first round. It was about a 5-hour stream. I don't know if we're going to do the entire first round. We are going to do at least the Bears pick at 10 and then maybe a few after.
Well, if we trade to 21,
it's true. We could be here. For a minute. But something that's new, I believe we're going to do day 2 because we'll do a day 2 live stream as well because we have 2 second rounders. That's super
2
important.
Early ones too.
So we will be there for those 2 early second round picks. So those streams will be coming here. And like I said, it's basically April. It's March 30th, but we're about 30 something days away. So,
yeah. So looks like we got Ryan. Ryan Pohl says you guys want me to hop on the show.
No, I'll pass, Ryan. You got more important stuff to do.
After the draft. Okay, we do have a super chat here from Tito, who are Patreon Hall of Fame Grizzly member. Appreciate Tito, OG of the show. $10 here says Hampton and Genty are 1A and 1B as the running backs. I'm cool with the trade down to the teens and scooping Hampton, but the Cowboys might snag him. I think they're at like 12. They definitely need a running back. I really think those 2 will be top 10 running backs in the league. Defensive end and O-line at 39 and 41. I'm not mad about that. If we walk away with Genty or Hampton, I feel like I wouldn't want my first one to be Hampton. I think that can wait. The only thing with O-line in the second round, your hit rate for O-line, unless it's a guard, like if you got like a Tyler Booker early second, right? That's fine. O-line hit rates for tackle position in the first round out of any position in the NFL. I've looked at it. I got to find the exact numbers, but offensive tackles hit significantly more in the first round compared to any other position. So if you're going to go O-line, history would show do it in the first round. So I obviously you got to see how the board lands. That's a big part. If your top 3 guys are gone before we get a pick, then obviously you're not just going to go get OT4, who would be in the second round. But I'd recommend they go offensive line in the first round if they decide to go that route. So what's your guys' thoughts on that, though? You guys cool with getting Omari and Hampton first round, going O-line, D-line second?
First of all, thank you, Tito, for the $10 donation. So appreciate it. Secondly, I don't want to trade back. The more I think about it, I know we started the show off with potential trade marker or trade partner emerging for Chicago. I don't want that. I similar to like last year with Rome. I was so hyped when we got him. I want to draft somebody, whether it's Will Campbell, Tyler Warren, Genty. Well, not Tyler Warren. Jack would hate that. Don't want to deal with him on the pod if that happens. So, anyways, I want a blue chip player, and I'm not for trading back. However, with that specific scenario, I would not be upset. Like as Bears fans, we can really talk ourselves into anything for the most part. I think some of us even did that with Mike Glennon. I wasn't one of them, but I'm just saying, whatever happens, I think we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be excited, and we're gonna get a lot of good players. So. Not for me, not what I would prefer, but I wouldn't hate it. So
would you do a trade? 2 questions, and then Jack, I'll let you answer these first. Mm-hmm. Trade down. Would you rather trade down 1, so go from 10 to 11, you'd probably get like a third back, still get your guy, right? Or would you rather trade up for someone like Abdul Carter? Let's say that Shedeur goes second to the Browns. Giants probably would then trade back because they're looking for a quarterback. Maybe, I'm just saying Abdul falls to 4 or something, right? Trade up for Abdul. Would you rather do that, give up a lot, but to go get someone like Abdul Carter? Or would you more likely trade down 1, get a third back, and still get kind of one of your guys? Jack, what do you think?
It's for Jack?
Yeah.
Oof.
It just depends on the capital that we give up. I wouldn't be cool. Like,
Abdul will cost a lot.
Yeah,
it probably would.
So it's
5 would be better if we could do 5 or 6. But yeah, I don't think it's falling that far.
But I do think Abdul's worth it. Like if you have to pay a high price for a high quality player. So I wouldn't hate it. What Erica just said right here. If Carter falls to 5 or 6, make the call. Love that. If we can somehow, I don't think he will. If he falls to like 6 or even 5, I don't even know. 6, then that's a much easier jump. 10 to 6 is going.
You would have to have 3 quarterbacks. You would have to be Cam, Shedeur, Jackson Dart in there, and then it'd be Travis Hunter, and then someone going like the first offensive lineman for that to happen. That just seems.
I saw Mitchell Trubisky go within the top 3 of an NFL.
But at least no. But the thing with that's fair. But the thing with that was they were still projecting him to go high, and so people don't have there hasn't been mocks except one. There's been one mock I saw from Bucky Brooks on NFL Network that had the first 3 picks going 1, 2, and 3. Like first 3 picks going quarterback. So that's what we got to hope for. And then Travis Hunter would go 4, I think, to the Patriots. And then 5 right there's Abdul Carter. You trade up. That's like I think that's the best case scenario.
I just can't believe. Yeah, I don't think Cleveland picks 2, right?
Yep, Cleveland's 2. Then you got Giants, and then you got Patriots.
Unless Cleveland wants to finally just draft a quarterback, which I've heard, I've seen so many like mocks with him and Abdul. Like they're just like almost a lock at this point. So
yeah, it feels like it.
I don't even if he gets past Cleveland, I just don't think anybody's gonna. I don't think is Tennessee 3.
No, it's
Tennessee's 1.
It's Tennessee, Browns, Giants, Patriots, and then 5 is
I don't even think the Giants would pass up on Abdul.
5
they'd be like, what?
Well, like the only thing with the Giants is they traded for Brian Burns, and they still have their DN that they drafted in the first round 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But let's just say he gets the.
They're probably good there.
That it's just everything's. It's just that's gonna be
Patriots could take them easily. Patriots could take
insane capital. You'd have to give up at least first. No way. No. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's likely to happen, but that would be a pipe dream if you.
So I'd rather trade back. Your original question, I think I would rather trade back
Yeah, and Jack, are you okay with Tito's original question here? Are you cool with like a trade down? Because if you trade down for Hampton, you wouldn't have to trade too far down, but picking him up and then focusing D-line and O-line in the second?
In this specific one, I think Hampton's a huge reach in 11. Like,
yeah, I agree too.
Like a huge reach. That would be a problem. Yeah, right. I would be pissed. And I'm not with that. Like, Hampton's definitely a good player, and I know everyone, like, he's 1B in terms of ranking the running backs for this draft. If we get him there's no way that'd be worth it to go to 11, get Hampton, and we just land a third. That would make
you're gonna be throwing more things.
Okay, my piss meter right now. That would piss me off. Number one, Tyler Warren. Okay, Tyler Warren. Too. And then I don't know what else. We'll figure it out.
Tyler Warren would win you over though, because I can guarantee his open press would be great. I think he's gonna be a fan favorite. If he lands in Chicago somehow, he's gonna be an awesome dude. I'm
sure he'll be a good player. I just think at 10 is crazy talk because then we're gonna go watch.
I think he's going earlier. In my opinion,
he could go to the Jets at 7. Jets need a tackle though. I think they're probably going to go tackle, but Jets could easily take a tight end. Good, like he's bound to fall between 7 and 7's like the earliest he'll probably go, right after Raiders since they got Brock. So
what if we trade back? 9? What if we trade back to like 14 and take him?
Who's 14? Yeah, Indianapolis. Yeah, I'd be fine.
What if he's still there? You trade back to 14. You get Tyler Warren. You coop. I don't know what the compensation.
You probably get a second rounder, a future second with that.
I mean,
is it unrealistic that the Jets move to 10 and we move to 7? Is there any incentive for us to do that?
Probably not. And the Jets, I honestly don't think the Jets are going to move because they've for the past 3 years. 12? 12. Yeah. So
what if let's go to say they want a running back. Say they want Genty or something. So we pass on Genty to go back to 12. You take Tyler Warren.
You get I know it doesn't even have to be Tyler.
That right there is the worst case scenario. That is the worst thing that could ever happen.
No. Here out for
these live mocks. So next episode, next week, we're doing a live mock draft where all three of us are going to have to decide together and agree together on a pick. Jack's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem.
Just don't give me Tyler Warren. That's all I ask. And don't give me
but Dave, I think your hypothetical is actually a good one. So if you go from 10 to 12, right? And Cowboys get Genty. Well, obviously, we'll be pissed because we lost out on Genty. But Jack just said, which I agree, it's not like it's just Roschon Johnson back there. We can make it work with DeAndre Swift and Roschon. And then at 12, you can easily get possibly Armand Membu, top tackle in the draft. Will Campbell, I've seen fall to 12. You could get him, especially with his short arms. You could get Josh Simmons, though he's been injured. People view him as one of the actual pro-ready tackles, right? It's just his injury that made him fall, a tackle from Ohio State. So you drop back, you get recoup another second, a future second for next year to help build on the future drafts, and you still get a top tackle in the draft. Like, that's not honestly as bad as what people think. People will be pissed because you didn't get Genty because we're so focused on Genty and we're like Genty or die. I think it's like Genty is last year's Rome for the Bears right now. We got lucky and got Rome last year, but a lot of people are going to feel a type of way if we don't get Genty. But I think there are some actual like real good situations like the hypothetical you just gave, Dave, where you can drop back 1 or 2 spots and still get a dog at 12. Like, there's still good talent. Like, top 15 first round is a lot of good talent. Once in a while, you can find some Hall of Famers in the back half as well. Like Justin Jefferson, I think was picked 17 or 19 to the Vikings. But top 15, there's plenty of good talents. If you just move 2 spots back, I wouldn't hate it.
But I know, but it kind of contradicts what we've always said is that we want blue chip and like we want a guy that we know
I agree.
Play.
I agree.
It contradicts to be like, oh, Genty's here. I would be okay going back because I would not. Okay.
It depends if they view like a tackle. So like, let's say they do have like Armand Membu as a blue chip or Will Campbell as a blue chip, and they're both still on the boards, and you have Genty as a blue chip. Needs wise, are they then like, look, tackle is probably a bigger need for us moving forward. We got to pay Braxton Jones next year. He's been good, above average. He's been a solid player. Metrics will show that. But if you're thinking about the future, you're like, okay, we need to replace that compared to, well, we have Roschon, we have DeAndre Swift, who just signed a contract, so we have him for at least 2 more years, So maybe that, again, we don't know what the board looks like, but maybe that, like, it goes talent And then, okay, how does that fit need-wise? And so they decide, okay, let's trade back. And if it's like with the Cowboys, they can do a stupid trade. They do stupid trades all the time. If that's the case, like what we get back might make it feel even worth it even more. But again, this is all hypotheticals. We don't know. We don't know how the draft board's going to fall. We don't even know what to be offered up, but just something to think about.
So Louis Riddick, ESPN, I believe he's still with ESPN. He had an interesting tweet. What was it? I was trying.
Was that the one where he said like he's going to be the next Barry Sanders or something?
Where he talked about if he lands in Chicago. Here we go. I have it here. So Louis Riddick, I think he was actually a front office guy too in the NFL. So he's a previous exec in the NFL. So he had a very, very interesting. He said Ashton Genty gonna break Dickerson's rookie rushing record if he can get to a place like Chicago with that offensive line. I don't know. I think that one's just kind of stirring the pot in my opinion, but it gets you a little more hyped about like that's the possibilities with him. I saw a comment here on YouTube about him being the next to Saquon. I hate like comparing players. Like obviously it's a lot of pressure, but I think he has that type of ceiling in regards to impact on a team, especially with this new offensive line. But I would love to see it. So
is Genty at the top of all of our? I mean, obviously we'll do our mock draft and see how things land. But is he okay?
Same.
I know that's kind of like I know that's
Campbell.
like the vibe right now. It's interesting because even based on, I think it's a good one based off your article, which I've talked about. I'm not against Campbell, but he would he would have one of the shortest arms for a starting tackle in the NFL if he started right now. So, I saw his comments. If you want to talk about his comments,
we'll bring him up. So unless you have something to add on that, Jack, about Genty and that Louis Riddick.
Nope.
Not you, Ficky. I'm talking to Jack. I'm talking to Jack.
Mute up for a little bit.
Ficky's over here answered for you.
You need to do the around the horns. Put me on the mute and then deduct some points. You know what I mean?
Bro, we need to get a segment like that. That would be so fun. So what were we talking about? We were
talking about Will
Campbell.
And I was saying
so obviously there was a viral clip. I mean, viral. This thing went nuts. Will Campbell basically sent a message to the entire NFL, including Chicago, in regards to because obviously there's been a lot of talk about his, a lot of scrutinizing of his arm length and whatnot. So, and there's a lot of good stats out there, like Nick Whalen, a friend of the show. I mean, he is on it. He understands. He basically is saying that it's a huge risk. But this is what he said to him. He said, for 2 years, nobody had any measurements on me and nobody said anything about my play. So now all of a sudden, arm length decides if I'm a good player or not. I think it's bullshit. However, he talks like Matthew McConaughey. I could honestly, do you want me to play the clip?
If you want, yeah, we can pull it up.
I just think it's so interesting because I don't think a lot of people know how he sounds. Like, I don't even think Jack knows.
I like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we pull it up? Pull up the overlay?
We got.
Yeah, I have it. I'm ready.
Here we go. Cool.
So this is Will Campbell on people scrutinizing his. Let me see here. Arm length. So
don't coach, and they don't.
Oh yeah, geez, that's a Southern accent, isn't it?
Are we ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
You as a prospect.
For 2 years, nobody had any measurements on me, and nobody said anything about my play. So now all of a sudden, an arm length decides if I'm a good player or not. I think it's BS. But any decision makers in the NFL, they don't really care. It's all people who don't coach, and they don't coach for a reason.
You as a prospect.
Jeez.
Yeah. So Will Campbell.
He's from Louisiana. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. No, he has
got
that
a deep
accent.
Southern accent for sure.
In Chicago, that would be hilarious. Honestly, I would love to hear him every week if we could. But yeah, I think it's interesting.
Can I say something about that though? About what he said? It's I think the argument is getting a little convoluted in the way of, is Will Campbell going to be good or not? It's not whether or not Will Campbell's going to be good or not. It's where is he going to be good at? Due to his arm length, he has, and this is like your article, Dave, he could literally become like Kevin Martin, guard from the Cowboys. Great, right? All pro, future Hall of Fame guard, got moved down there, right? So the question is, will he be a good tackle with the arm length, or would you rather move him down to increase his hit rate, right? His likelihood to be more successful at a guard. So I think the question is whether or not you're willing to draft a guard at 10. But then the secondary question is, does it even matter if it hits? Like if he's an all-pro guard, it doesn't matter if you took him at 10 or you took him at 238. You got your guy and you did it right.
Two things here. Will Campbell, super young, 21 years old. Joe Thuney, let's be honest, 3-4 years maybe at a high level.
Yeah,
maybe. So also another thing, depth. Something you need in the NFL at the offensive line. We saw it last year where Chicago had 30 different type of starting lineups last year, something along those lines. It was an insane number. For me, Will Campbell, Jonah Jackson, I know he's penciled in as a starter at right guard. Is that right? So Jonah Jackson, are we 100% certain he's going to be able to get back to where he was in Detroit? I love the optimism. However, what if he does struggle? Or what if we draft Campbell? He outplays him at training camp. So then Campbell starts, and then you got Jonah Jackson as a depth piece. Yeah, he's a little expensive, but he's still probably going to be at least an adequate starter. And if you have a rookie beating him out, it just adds to the depth because someone's going to go down. And Jonah Jackson has that versatility to maybe Joe Thuney. I know he's been relatively healthy, knock on wood here, but it's like I would love Will Campbell, even if he beats out Braxton Jones and he becomes, and obviously you can see the determination here, and he wants to play left tackle at a high level at the NFL. And I love the enthusiasm. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. We've seen it happen before in regards to other players trying to, make that jump. But like I said, Nick Wayland, this is something he said that kind of struck with me. I think it was on one of our pods, but
it was.
He said betting on outliers in arm length and wingspan is a bigger gamble at tackle than guard. And so Peter Skronsky, I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
was an all-American left tackle, but he now plays NFL. He obviously plays at a high level guard because of the arm length. So it's like there's obviously Zach Martin, all-American left tackle, but now he's in Hall of Fame level guard in the NFL, and he could be an outlier. He could prove it, but for me, it's like you're just adding depth. He's going to be a starter, whether it's in year 1 or year 2. He could be a backup. He could start after week 8. Where someone goes down or something like that. And I hate to say that, but it's going to happen whether Jonah Jackson's out for 4 or 5 weeks, he goes on IR, a stint there. You bring in this guy who's able to sit for a couple weeks to start, maybe 6-7 weeks in the NFL, get some reps under him. All I'm saying is I think having him in rotation, either as a starter right away, which would be a great thing. Because if he beats up Jonah Jackson, if he beats out Braxton Jones, it's just going to raise the level of depth, the ceiling of that offensive line, which is so important for Caleb, because I think that's where we're going to really see him shine, where he can feel like he doesn't have somebody in his face within a second of snapping the ball. So for me, Joe Thuney, he's not going to be here probably in 4 years. This kid, Will Campbell, he's going to be in his prime in 7-8 years probably along those lines. So I think it'd be a great pick. I would love it at 12, right? Move back, be able to actually snag him, something along those lines where he falls. But that's where I love Will Campbell. I think he can play left tackle. If not, I think at the very, very minimum, he's going to be a Pro Bowl guard. So if not,
can I throw some stats out though for like his body size, right? So like as an offensive tackle, his height 6'5", he's in the 50th percentile, which is okay. Weight, he's good. He's in the 319 pounds, 67th percentile. Arm length, 7th percentile. That means he's in the very bottom of that arm length. And then hand for a tackle, 13th percentile, right? And Waylon talked about it, right? Arm and hand is one of the biggest ones to look at there, okay? But as a guard, if he moves to guard, height, he goes from 50th to 87th. Weight, he stays around the same, so 67th to 69th. And then arm is not the percentile here, but he goes to the 23rd longest arms for a guard in the NFL, and then hands would be 22nd. So you can see the significant difference when it comes to how he would be compared when you're looking at his size. Now, does that mean everything? No, because if that's the case, we see all the time, you would just draft all these giant people and be like, you're good to go. But it does kind of leave it up to debate, like, where does he go? I agree with you that adding him will make our offensive line better, no matter if he's starting right away or if he's back up. But I'm going to lead this to Jack. How much would it piss you off based off your piss meter, right? Which is get that trademarked. Based off your piss meter, if we draft Will Campbell, right, and he is a guard or even a tackle, but he's not starting right away, like, is that worth the value of taking at 10? like I'm okay with it, but like, are you like, no, you should have went for someone that they should be playing right now. Someone,
Yeah, that's where I'm at, is that we need somebody that can play right now. Like, we have a certain amount of holes in our roster left. And then besides though, if we fill those holes, right? If left tackle was solidified, if our running back situation was solidified, or D-line solidified, whatever else, like, we're a contending team. So let's fill these holes rather than, I don't know. Like 10 is such a specific pick. Like, again, if it was 17 or 21, like we trade with Steelers, I don't give a shit. You can sit on the bench, we'll develop, and you'll be a star one day. When we have 10, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's where I'm at. So I don't know. I would kind of be pissed just because it's like but like you said, it could always be a plug and play situation. If Braxton doesn't work out, throw him at left tackle, then he's starting, and we can forget the whole conversation.
Okay, what order then? Tyler Warren was second. You had trade back was first. Is this third?
The only thing was the specific thing that Tito said.
Yeah, the specific trade.
Go to 11, draft Hampton, and let Genty or whatever the hell. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Love you, Tito. That was crazy. But this would probably be 3, because I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this team's like, we're doomed. Fuck polls, get them out of here. But I wouldn't be it's just like, we're at 10. What Dave was just talking about with Rome was, when we take Rome, we were all like, hell yeah, like he's going to be awesome. We can't wait to watch him. Imagine doing that and getting a guy that's going to sit on the bench for 15 games,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. It kind of sucks.
It does. We do have a follow-up question here.
He might not even be there, too.
He may not, too. So. He could easily be gone. So Alex, OG member here, said, Jack, who is your dream pick at 10? Everyone being mentioned so far seems to piss you off. So we'll let's get your thoughts. What's your dream pick?
Tune in next week and you'll find out.
All right, boom. All right.
Oh, that's good.
We love that.
It's professional.
We love that. That's a professional.
I'm all class, Dave. I'm all class.
Hey, well, honestly, though, we are coming up on an hour here. Vic, let's go ahead and give some shout outs if we can. And then also we'll go through just an ad read. But again, if you are here on a Sunday morning, we got 112 so far live stream on YouTube. So if you can, hit that like button. It does help support the pod. I'm going to hand it over to you, Vic.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, thank you all for joining us on a Sunday morning on the BFR Podcast, the #1 show for the fans, by the fans, because Dave, Jack, and I are fans like y'all. We enjoy the highs, the lows, the excitement of the draft, everything in between, because we love this team just like y'all do. So we really do appreciate y'all being here for the BFR show. Again, the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. Like Dave said, if you would like to help us out and help this show grow, please just give a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Also hit that, if you subscribe, hit that notification bell as well. A lot of times, you don't get notified when it happens. If you join a Patreon, you will. But a lot of times, it may not. If you can get that notification right to your phone, like, oh, I got to definitely see what Erroneous Jack's up to, then make sure you hit that notification bell. And again, like this stream as well before you leave. If this is your first time, first off, thank you again for joining the BFR Podcast. Go ahead and leave a hashtag new face gang in the chat. We'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. And our OGs, as always, I already know some of you already left some because you guys are fucking awesome. Leave a hashtag OG in the chat. We'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. And then speaking of shout outs, I want to give a shout out to our Patreon members as well. We have our Hall of Fame Grizzly members, which is Michael from across the pond. We got Gage. I saw Phillips in here. And then we got Michael Berry as well. I think he was in here as well. So shout out to y'all. Also, if you guys are Bulls fans, follow Philip. He does do for Justin Idio's Chicago. So if you want to get your Bulls content, go there. Sorry that you're Bulls fans, but if you want that, you can definitely follow him. And then shout out to our rookie Grizzly Patreon members as well. Alex, who's just in here. Shout out to you, Brian, Chris, Jason, and Eston. We really do appreciate all the love and support. And if you want to join the ongoing community and get a shout out on every one of our shows, you can join our Patreon, which is the BFR Den on Patreon. And on there, we have a bunch of monthly exclusives. We have monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, mailbag episodes, and much, much more. Actually, speaking of much, much more, we did drop an exclusive merch line for our Patreon members, which are fire. I know that Michael already bought one. It looks dope. It's only exclusive to our Patreon members. And then this week, we will be dropping a less exclusive version of that merch for everybody. So we do have new merch dropping out for the month of April to get ready for the draft. So we're super excited about that. But if you want to join our Patreon, we have 2 tiers. We have 3 tiers. You can join for free. We drop our monthly schedule in there, which I'm working on for the month of April here coming up. We have a giveaway coming up literally tomorrow. So if you want to get in there, make sure to get in there and you have a chance to win some free merch. And then we have our rookie tier, which is $3, super cheap. You can get in there and you'll get access to our private Discord, our monthly giveaways, our mailbag episodes. And then if you want the exclusive tier, which is the Hall of Fame Grizzly tier, that's where you get the private Zoom with Jack, Dave, and I once a month. So fire merch as well. That merch is live now. You can get our regular standard BFR merch on the store, thebfrstore.com. Let me throw it up here right now. So we do have that on there. Hats, hoodies, shirts, wonderful stuff. But yeah, we'll be updating the store and adding in some of the new drops, which the Patreon members are already saying it looks fire. I think you guys will thoroughly enjoy that. So again, if you want to support us, please do by joining the Patreon, buying some merch for yourself, for your friends, for whoever it may be. All the proceeds just go back into making the show bigger and better for y'all. And if not, that's totally fine. We do appreciate the super chats as well. Thank you, Tito. And if you don't want to have to spend any money, that's cool. We appreciate you just being here. Just make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. All that helps the algorithm so we can keep making this show grow because we're on our path to 8K. You guys are getting us very close. I think we're like 7.9, and you guys have been killing it this offseason with our videos. Close. So thank you so much. So back to you, Dave.
Yeah, no, somehow we are already at the hour mark. So if we have any questions, if you have any questions in the chat right now, throw them in there. We'll answer them all before we kind of get out of here.
Also, we do have one voicemail. So I think it's Philip. Yeah, just came in. So we have one from Philip. Also, as well, you can leave a voicemail to the BFR Podcast anytime. Down here at the bottom, you can see speakpipe.com/the BFR Podcast. All you really do is just go to it, hold your phone, hold the button, talk, let go, and then boom, it automatically.
Hey, let's see that case. Look at that case.
Yes,
we need a BFR case, honestly.
Honestly, that might
clean,
be. Dude. You're thinking a little too far ahead. That might be something for the Patreon exclusive here.
All right,
it's going to be something we're working on. So yeah, in other words, join the Patreon because we're dropping a bunch of fun stuff this year, and we're super excited about that. But yeah, you can send a voicemail to us anytime, post games, pre games, off season. We love hearing what you have to say. So before we get to the questions, I figured we would
Let's get the voicemail in there. Also, fun fact, some of our most viral clips are your guys' voicemails during the season, I would say, during the games. Keep it coming. I know we're about 5 months away from the season, but we appreciate the voicemails a lot. So
all right, let's do it. This one is from Philip. So let's give it a peek, see what Phil's got to say.
Dudes, I'll be honest, it's been way too long since I've done this. We all know how much I love me a good voicemail. First off, Dave, man, that was way too kind of you earlier. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to be like you guys, man. Just trying to make good content. If you're a Bulls fan, you know where to go. Just another year. All right, on to some better shit. I'm going to the fucking draft next month, guys. I'll be there for all 3 days. If you want me to make fun of Green Bay fans, send me some good insults. I'm totally down to do it. If they want to throw hands, they can get that ass whooped. Just kidding. I still serve the fucking country. I can't do that. But I can't wait to troll the shit out of whoever the fuck they draft. And honestly, I kind of hope whoever they draft, I hope their family's sitting next to me because I'm going to tell them to kiss my ass and bear down. Honestly, it's going to be a great time. I'll rep, and it's insane you guys dropping this freaking pod. I'm literally wearing your shirt. And, guys, if you're not subscribed to the Patreon, go do that. It's fucking sick. Anyways, Caleb Williams is him. Any other orders of business? Welcome to the Big Dong Ben Johnson era. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good here. The Great Wall of, Chicago is going to protect Caleb. And honestly, if we get Ashton Genty, we're probably going to break every single offensive record that ever existed. All right, probably not, but, it's fun to dream. Bear the fuck down and fuck Green Bay.
Oh, man. I do love them. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil. Really do appreciate that. So,
okay. So, do we have any questions, Jack? Before we get to our final shout-outs?
Yeah, I think we had some. I think you started some in here. Yeah, you definitely did. I think. Perfect. Okay, we got Richie. Richie, this is a funny Avi, by the way. I think that's a Photoshop of The Rock with your face on it. So good stuff there. So Richie on Twitter said, thoughts on a possible trade back in grabbing Mike Green? I would say pending legal accusations are cleared, I would be for it. He's a natural freak. He's great, but you guys can Google his background. It's not necessarily great. So I don't think Poles is going to, and not just from college, it extends back to high school as well. So with some essay stuff, I should say. So I probably wouldn't take that risk. And I don't think if Poles passed on Jalen Carter, I don't think he would take Mike Green.
Yeah.
Don't make the same mistake twice.
Well, unfortunately, Mike Green has kind of made the same mistake a couple of times. That's why he's
allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly, accusations.
Dude, on this pod,
Right? Accusations, but
Yeah,
no,
we're not the court of
agree.
law here. It's an accusation. We don't know.
it's true. Yeah,
I think it's more so. It's not even about him. I think we're all in agreement. We don't really want to trade back at all. So I think I'll just stay with that. So, anyways.
Good question though. Great question though.
Yeah, good one.
Jack, what we got next?
I think that was it.
Was that the only
This
one?
one's more about.
Oh, here we
Everyone's
go.
awake
Mr.
on this
James.
Sunday morning.
If we do trade, can we trade the Panther second so the Panther trade continues to live on? That would be hilarious.
Yes.
Yes, just for the clicks, absolutely.
Honestly, I
want that
would
trade to equal
love
a
that.
shit ton.
I would love that, dude.
That'd be
or
hilarious.
what if they packaged, like, we were talking about Abdul Carter earlier. What if they packaged that second with a first or something like that to go and land him? So then
That's
trade
what they would
looks
do.
But then
That'd be crazy.
then that trade goes from like Caleb Williams, like Tyreek Stevens, Abdul Carter.
The list would
Foles
be
is just trying to his
Right.
legacy here.
well, it'd be DJ
Yeah.
Moore, Caleb Williams, Tyreek Stevenson. There's another person,
Tory
and then
Taylor.
Tory Taylor, and then Abdul Carter, and I think one other person for the first.
And then for
Bryce-
the graphics, leave out that we traded up, like that we traded our own first as well. Just put their second.
Yeah,
Abdul Carter.
yeah, you know, we traded of our
Just make
own.
it
So you
look
just need to
nuts.
see what they had to get us what we got. So
For Bryce Young.
That's funny.
for Bryce Young. Hey, shout
Oh,
Bryce
for-
Young though. Yeah, he was getting destroyed, and he had a great second half of the year. So I hope just for his
Yeah.
perspective, I hope he plays out well. So because it doesn't really affect us now. But
I don't.
God, it was. You just said no. He just wanted to be dog water.
No, I like the NFL when there's good quarterbacks, man.
Of
So,
course. Because last year we did not have that many. It was a rough year for
Hell.
passing last year. Oh my God. So,
Mhm.
all right. I think that's it on questions. Let's get the shout outs and then we will get the fuck on. Let's see what we got here. First one up. We got Kyler. I know you're not here right now, according to your comment here, but going to church. See you later. Bye-bye. Hashtag OG. True OG. Appreciate it, Kyler. Hope you can see that when you watch this back. We got Gio in here. Hashtag OG. I need a Genty Bears jersey. Well, don't be like me and buy one before you find out if they're going to be on the team or your number. And speaking of that, before we go on, I forgot to mention this. We didn't talk about it, but it looks like Keenan Allen's going back to the Chargers. So Keenan Allen came here for a year and just stole the number from Caleb. So that's shout out to Keenan Allen, And
Yeah, let's make
Go
this
ahead,
a segment really quick because when everyone always talks about like the Ryan Poles fuck ups, like the Chase Claypool, like when the argument of is he a good GM, should he stay? This was such a major fucking miss. I can't even process it.
with Keenan
I don't
last
think
year.
it's as bad as a miss.
It was in.
I don't.
How is it not?
It was a
that we
rental.
dropped-
So I think Claypool's a miss. I don't know if
Claypool's
Keenan's a miss.
definitely a miss.
How is it not?
But
though?
I
Because-
think no, Claypool's a
Fourth?
miss. I mean, Keenan's a miss, but the miss is like it's a rim out, like everything in basketball. Like, because look, you're a fourth round in the NFL. If you look at trades across the league, look at like with Stephon Diggs, right? Rentals typically, right? Third. Well, Stephon, I think, was a second they got for him, right? But it's typically you're doing a third or fourth. That's what we paid. We pay a fourth for Keenan Allen, older. He came in and got it wasn't like he came in with Chase Claypool and got 200 yards or didn't even last the season. He had multiple game touchdowns. He had 750 receiving yards. The issue is that we're not re-signing him again, and
Correct.
that's less of an
exactly
issue.
what I'm talking about.
No, but you know
That's
why? You
where
know
we
what you can't. But you know what you can't forecast who your head coach is going to be. So this miss is technically tied to sticking with Eberflus.
So
If Ben Johnson was here, he probably would have said never trade for Keenan because that's not the type of wide receiver he has. He wants speed, as we saw. That's what he had in
Jack,
Detroit. And that's
let
what-
me hit you with some grown up stuff here. So Roma Dunze, right, came in. He when he was drafted, who did he say he wanted? Like he kind of basically molded his game. Watched Keenan Allen was one of them. So the ability to learn from him, I think we're going to see those benefits. He's going to reap those benefits in year 2, 3, 4, 5 down the road. Also, security blanket was Keenan Allen for it wasn't Cole Kmet, right? He wasn't targeted. No. Keenan Allen, even though he wasn't part of the game plan, he still somehow got involved. Like he's just that good. The joy we got from the London game, that was one of the best moments of the season. He had 2 touchdowns that game. Can't take that away. Led the team in touchdowns. And then the ability to get Shane Waldron fired, right? His comments were pretty damning. Pretty fucking on, pretty damning. So for me, I think he did a lot more. I think you need to give him a little bit more credit Jack, before
I might have
we
worded
get
that
off this pod.
poorly. I more meant the fact that he was not re-signed is such a fucking fumble.
That's what sucks when it comes to the weight of it.
But why was he not re-signed, Jack? For me, it comes back to Rome Odunze again. It's like you have to let this guy. You got to let Rome cook. I think no offense, Keenan.
I think it's Ben's
Ben
game plan too, because like, look, Keenan has never been that fast type of like elusive type of wide receiver, right? Even if he's at his peak. Ben Johnson, if you look at the offenses in Detroit, speed. Look at the wide receivers. Every single one of them is speed. He does not do those big type body wide receivers. And with the aging Keenan, I think they would say, hey, look, the value to bring him back, how much we have to pay him, will that fit the type of offense that Ben's running? And it won't. So it goes back, though. Poles can't predict that. Poles probably should have predicted that you wouldn't have your head coach, right? That's the miss, is sticking with Eberflus. But I don't know if you would have thought that, like, oh, Ben Johnson is the guy going to be here.
And Keenan was drafted before Rome was picked. So it's like they did not know Rome was 100% going to be there. So then it's like, oh shit, now we got Keenan and Rome and DJ. So I think it was more of like hedging your bets.
Safety. Yep.
Yeah, safety valve. So I agree though. I think I wanted him back. I was for the extension. However, I think he is going to be he's going to cost a lot. I think also last year, I mean, you saw the QB school, love or hate him. I mean, he was all over DJ, like obviously and rightfully so. I think DJ had a lot of reps that just he would probably look back and be like, I probably need to give a little bit more effort there. Same with Keenan. No, not that he, threw the towel in, but it's like there was times where it looked like he was either he was just really slow or he just was not giving the effort that you need.
What about that pick he threw and then kind of just walked
and had the Jay Cutler body language? Yeah, exactly.
Like, you threw the pick. What are you doing? That's funny.
Yeah, and people were saying he didn't know if he threw the pick. He
may not.
Okay,
I mean,
the crowd is gonna roar. It's not gonna roar for an incompletion. Okay, all right. It's not. The crowd is so loud. But for me, I agree, Jack. There is some things where you're like, was it a miss? I don't know. I don't think it was a full on miss because I think we're gonna see Rome. I think it benefits him because Rome is probably, you would hope he's going to be the number one receiver here in the next couple of years and overtake that crown from DJ. So
I think we're both kind of right. Like on a micro level, it's a miss. I mean, on a micro level, it's more of a hit because of the little, like the stuff he did for that season and for Rome. But from a macro level, you're like, well, you're not extending him more than 1 year. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, it was a true rental. So you're kind of like,
that would have been Caleb's touchdown, though, in Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to that game. So, but yeah, I could feel it. Look, I felt the same. I was like, damn, I kind of knew it was going to happen. Like, we weren't going to bring him back, and it kind of sucks. And then it's like you gave up the capital for just a 1 year. But that's kind of how the NFL works, unfortunately. But
yeah, you guys are we'll have DJ, Rome, and Tyler Scott. So, Super Bowl. Fuck that.
Well,
we should have Keenan. Keenan should be the same three people.
I don't even
fucking people.
It's going to be a Lamade.
Let's hold
Zacchaeus.
Let's pause it here. No one's right or wrong. No one's right or wrong.
Last year.
Let's see where Keenan ends up. Let's see and for how much. Okay, then we'll really have the discussion. Should the Bears
see how his season works too? He's going to be 34.
Yeah, but if he signs for 1 year, $7 million, that's going to piss me off. Because he said he wants Chicago or LA. Nobody else.
He's going to LA. So.
But I just want to see the numbers. So
we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, sorry, not to do a mid-segment as we're trying to end the show, but I totally forgot to talk about the question, though. I feel like the longer the show goes, the more I'm pissing off Jack.
It really is. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Jack didn't get enough sleep today. Everything's pissing him off. Keenan Allen for a
to be fair, you weren't on the last show. You weren't on the last show. We had a segment about Olamide Zacchaeus, and he was actually a really good steal.
I know. I listened to the show, and Zacchaeus as the fucking 3. That is the same. We did the same fucking thing with Equinemius. The same exact thing where we were like, hey, he's actually pretty good. He's a pretty good player.
Hey, but remember,
we hyped him that much.
Remember, there's. I know he's 3, but it's going to be DJ Rome, Cole, and then maybe a drafted tight end or something along those lines. I don't think Zacchaeus is going to be
Tyler Scott too. He might be able to. Yeah, he might be able to break out Tyler Scott too. You never know, Ben Johnson. I'm just saying. Look, you're not. These aren't guys. These are not.
Get off of this.
These are not guys that we're saying are the main target. These are pieces.
4 catches. He's the. Oh God.
So what you're hoping here is Rome 1,000, DJ 1,000 plus, both of those, and then
what I mean.
Zacchaeus 500, 600.
Let's do another Caleb 4K tracker and watch Zacchaeus's contribution.
Every year will be a 4K tracker till he hits
Zacchaeus,
it.
Zacchaeus.
Oh, when he drops and when he goes for 500, bookmark this. I'd be like, that contributed to that 4K.
He is not fucking Keenan Allen, bro. Not Keenan Allen.
I didn't say it was Keenan Allen, but it's a wide receiver 3.
We need someone to fill that void. How can
but why?
Like he's the insurance. Rome looked up to him. Caleb, it was security blanket. But
yeah, but your goal is if you look at all these top teams, they don't have 3 wide receiver ones. At the end of the day, Keenan Allen took shares in yards away from DJ and Rome. Your goal is you hope you have wide receiver 1, 1,000 yards. Wide receiver 2, close to 1,000 yards or 1,000 yards. Wide receiver 3 is getting all the other stuff. Like you're expecting them 400 to 500 yards, and then your tight end gets like 6. You add that all up, you're easily around 4K.
I do not see the vision. I do not see the vision not having a 3, because I think that most of the let's go back to the dynasty of the Patriots. They have 3 receivers. Everyone that's ever watched football can name all 3 receivers. They can probably name to the 4 or 5. They had depth. It takes one injury. It takes Rome to sprain an ankle one time, and then we have DJ, Zacchaeus, and Tyler.
Oh, we can still get a wide receiver in the draft. I'm not putting that off. Look, this isn't the final team, but where we're at now, I'm not necessarily mad about it. So, hey, look, one of the top 5 offense last year was Jaden Daniels in Washington. Who was his wide receiver 3? They didn't have a true wide receiver 2. It's really Terry McLaurin. I don't even know who their 2 is. Their 3.
Zacchaeus. He got almost 600 yards.
I know. It sounds like a very bullshit excuse. I think that they were an anomaly of a team. I still, to this day, do not know how they made the playoffs. I only
made the playoffs, made it to the NFC
Won
Championship.
The division, didn't they?
Right, exactly.
No, that's
division
Philly.
Championship.
No, that's Philly.
I couldn't even fathom that.
That's Philly. Yeah.
I guess
Crazy.
it's true, but I mean, dude.
We'll have to wait and see.
Right.
Look, that's the best part about this. But we do need to get to the final OGs.
Next show, all about wide receiver 3. 60 minutes of just wide receiver 3.
We're taking wide receiver 3 at 10. That's the plan here. So
no, for real though, next show will be our live mock draft, first one that we've ever done. You guys are going to be a part of it, so we'll have us 3 discussing going full Bears mock draft from round 1 to round 7, and we'll get it done. So we appreciate the support. Jack, love the question. You guys hit the comments. Let us know if we should have brought Keenan back, if Jack is right, whose side you're on. Anything else, boys, before we get out of here on this?
We do have some final 4 shout-outs we got to do, and then we're out. Yeah. So we got Dobbsy on YouTube, #OG. Also, that last comment. Thank you, Dobbsy. But that last comment by Phil's like the end of show audio has been playing. It feels like when at the Oscars and you're giving your speech and the music comes on. Like people are like, okay, I thought this was supposed to end, but we appreciate it. And then we got #OG for our Patreon member, Alex. He said Sunday morning show was a nice surprise. Maybe more Sunday shows coming? Possibly. Well, by September, there will definitely be Sunday shows coming, so I can tell you that much. And then we got Mr. James here with the #OG. Need that new cream draft hat. Yes. I'm about to buy my friend one as well, but the new draft hats for all the teams are sick. Look them up. They're by New Era. They've got pins for each individual city. Fire. So not as fire as the BFR hats, though. I'll say that. So go with those first. Okay, and then we got a final one here with Nico, who's new. Love the Avi was Soldier Field. Hopefully we won't be playing there too longer, though. But #new face, usually on Twitter live streams, but just subbed on YouTube, so I'm here. Appreciate it. Thank you, Nico. And again, shout out to our people that watch on Twitter. Shout out to people that watch on Facebook. I know we had people in here watching on Facebook. Obviously, shout out to our YouTube members as well. Also, we've been posting to our Spotify, Apple podcast listeners. We still post there. And on Spotify, we're posting the video format as well. So you can see us, our 3 beautiful faces while you enjoy the podcast. But shout out to y'all as well. You guys leave comments. You have questions on there. We really do appreciate it. And much love to everybody else. Again, like and subscribe because this is the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. Again, the #1 show by the fans, for the fans here on YouTube, the BFR Podcast. So we appreciate y'all being here.
Love it. All right. We'll be back next week, like I said, with our draft episode. And I think that's it. So you guys have a great final, it's not the weekend. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy your work week. We'll be back later in the week. And again, we are on the road to 8,000 subs. So if you can, hit that like button, sub, and we appreciate it. So bear down. We'll see you soon.
Peace.